Hello, lovelies. Today I'm going to do something a little different than I normally do. I've been trying to get back into writing for quite some time, um, and it's been unsuccessful up until this point, so I'm hoping that we can change that. So, normally I gravitate towards tarot to help me create characters, plots, and all that stuff, but what better way to kill two birds with one stone? Because I was also going to make some incense, is to combine them together and create a character based off the incense to flavor them, give them their personality, and use the tarot to explore the environment that they grew up in and combine that together to create a character. And yeah, so join me and Supervisor Duo over here as we take a journey down character creation lane. Okay, so here are my ingredients that I was going to use to make my incense blend. Um, in this bowl, I have the mako, which will be our binder. I'm so not used to doing this. So let's start with roses. So when I think of roses, I honestly think of like something who's passionate, love, um, kind of like associated with like Valentine's Day almost. Just romantic gestures, but if we let that simmer too much, it could cross over to obsession. So I kind of am leaning maybe towards very passionate lover, almost like romantic and whatnot. But let's see as we get further down in the ingredients, the roses, or the the stuff that I'm putting into these incense. Also, pardon me. At any point, if anything springs into your mind when you think of these things, especially when it comes to the tarot cards that I'll be using later, use that interpretation that came to your mind, because that'll make this this character more personal to you than just using what I say at face value. So in here, we'll go to roses. I might have to add more mako powder. So the next one I have here is chamomile. To me, chamomile is a very calming thing, kind of relaxing, helps you go like wind down after a long day. So this person isn't super passionate about that, but also they probably are someone who's going to go with the flow, even if that means kind of, even if that kind of means that they might be going against doing the right thing in the moment, just because it's going to avoid rocking the boat. And then in here I have clove and frankincense. That is a kind of like a clove is kind of a punch you in the face, so it's like pow in there. So I think of like someone who comes up, might be protective, comes off as strong, maybe. But if we include just the chamomile, it's more of like kind of like a dependable person. However, that being said, the frankincense is more spirit. Hold on. let me think. So clove. I lost my train of thought on that one. I know clove is like a punch you in the face. It's a warm smell. So if we were thinking in terms of character personality, that would be like, I guess you could say it's a weird combo because they have calm from the chamomile, but the clove to me is pretty intense, right? So they're easy, they go with the flow, but they're intense about it. Does that even make any sense? Probably not. I honestly don't know what I'm thinking. Mm. So all together we have rose. So they're passionate, they're romantic, they're sensual, you know, a little bit or a lot of it. They could be a flirt. That would be a fun character. And then we got the chamomile aspect, which is calming, relaxing, kind of like helping you ease into a good, restful night. So there's that. And then we got the clove and frankincense, which clove is a pow in your face, kind of intense smell. So, what if they're intense about their love? So maybe they're borderline obsessive a little bit. But other than that, everything else is calm. They go with the flow. You know, they're kind of like that relaxed friend. They're probably also the one that is into the spiritual topics. What else does frankincense mean? Give me a second while I look that up. Frankincense, it could be like spiritual, could it be like kind of like a fadey thing almost? They may feel bound to a bigger purpose, and they may feel aligned with that purpose and feel like that's their calling, or they might feel a little burdened by it. And yeah, so that's what we got going so far. And then to make sure we get everything to stick together, we have some orange water over here. And that, I think, kind of just brightens everything up. So we're just going to add this in here a little bit at a time. Oops. Okay, I said a little bit, but I add a lot of it. And we'll just mix that up. We want this to be kind of clay. Anyways, so before I get off into Yappersville, with the addition of this orange, I feel like that kind of just brightens everything up a little bit and makes everything kind of not super pep in your step, but kind of gives you that like, ooh, I'm awake again vibes almost. So, this is kind of, since we're using this to bind everything together, it kind of just holds their whole personality together in a weird way. I would say they curate how they perceive themselves almost. And I see them leaning more into the go with the flow kind of character with an intense way of showing their love and passion, or feel not even like romantic love, but you could say like their love for their friends. I might need to add just a smidge more water. It looks a little too dry. Anyways, I'm rambling way too much. Little bit more. So yeah, that's the kind of the personality. I'm also definitely gonna think about this some more as I go about the rest of the character creation process with the tarot, because I think that will also help kind of flesh out. No, I wouldn't say flesh out, but give more detail to help me properly place this character's personality. So yeah, that is our flavor of character. Do with that information as you will. Now that I got that made, I'm going to kind of put this off to the side. That smells good. Okay. Okay. So now that I've set off that to the side, in their molds to form, which I had them in little cone molds, let's move on to the tarot. We'll be using this tarot deck right here. For this, hopefully we get some interesting cards on this one. I'm sure we will. Okay. Anything that falls to the ground we won't be using, and if it's important, it'll come back up again for this character. So help me come up with a character based off of what we've come up with so far. Cards. Let's see if we can get something interesting. I am going to pull, hopefully, 9 cards. We'll see if it fits or not. I will... Ooh, no, that's one too many cards. Ooh, I just had this card come up not that long ago. Ooh. Flip these around because I fucked up. No. Are you showing up? Oops. It's not showing up in the reading. My apologies. So far, I'm seeing a pretty interesting character. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to draw, well, it's up to 9 cards. The first 3 cards are for the character's childhood. The next section I'm drawing for is their teenage years, their teenage young adult life. What's the word for that one? I don't know. I'm bad at English sometimes, and words go right over the head. So I'm at least hoping for 1 more card, if not 3 to 4 more. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, 3 to 4 more, if I can get it. If not, that is okay. Well, that was silly. Okay, so I'm just going to pull 1 more card, and we're going to go from there. The next card that comes... I said if it falls to the ground, it's not important, and it fell to the ground. That was my next card. Okay, well, if you're important again, you will come up. Let's put you right there. I lost how I was doing this. Fuck it. Okay, I figured my groove back out. I figured my groove. I found my groove. Okay, last shuffle. And then the card. Oh, well, Six of Wands. That's our last card. Because I don't want to sit here and shuffle too long. So, let's take a look at these cards. We're going with a character that's roughly in their teenage years. So, yeah. Let's start out with their childhood. Let's move these over to the side. Okay, starting with the childhood. We have the Six of Swords, Two of Swords, and Queen of Wands. I did, however, move these two cards around because that's where the story felt the most natural for me in terms of their childhood. If you don't agree, feel free to place them however you wish to create the story that is coming to mind for you. Once again, please feel free. I encourage that you use your own intuition when it comes to this, as any details you pick up is going to make the character that much more personal to you than just what I say based off this reading. So in their childhood, they had to move. And this wasn't because they wanted to. This is because something failed where they were, and the way that they were living was crumbling. So they had to relocate to somewhere new. And because of this, they coped by telling themselves, if I don't see it, I don't acknowledge it, it's not real. It's not my problem. So they coped by avoiding the problem altogether. This is also where the Queen of Wands comes in, I think, and plays into the rose that we made in our incense. That they put on an armor of, like, a charismatic armor. They became the outgoing one, the one who kind of liked the attention, or at least was confident in the attention that they were receiving. And this armor kind of masked everything else that was going on in their life. Kind of, they shone they shone brightly, casting a very dark shadow behind them. The light to avoid the problems that were behind them. But I definitely see the rose playing into this. They might have also kind of been a little, a little coy, a little mysterious, maybe even a little, I wouldn't say flirtatious, but like a charmer. Someone who knew how to charm somebody, Yeah, so that's what I'm getting with the childhood. Now let's add in the teenage cards. So, if we add in our teenage years, this is where our performative childhood, like to avoid our problems, becomes a little bit different. We're still kind of putting on the airs, but we've become the mature one, the responsible one, the dependable one. You put on the airs of, or not you, why am I saying you? This character put on the airs of, like, I have my shit together. Even in reality, when they still don't have their shit together, but they're gonna put on they're gonna deepen into that kind of mindset where in their social group they're gonna become the dependable one, and that dependable nature, that calm, that reliable, that grounded person that they're putting the airs on, which then brings back in the chamomile, the clove, and the frankincense, where they put on those attributes, and those attributes get recognized. So, with those attributes getting recognized, and most likely praised, for being not the smart one, the mature one, the one who holds everything together, that behavior is gonna get rewarded. So, in this formative teenage years or young adult years, they're gonna learn that being dependable, being reliable is gonna be rewarded, so that they're gonna kind of stick to that, and kind of that's gonna be their their teenage years, essentially. So I can see them developing the people pleaser habit. They're definitely probably going to be a people pleaser in their teenage years, which kind of tracks for the chamomile, because they're going to kind of just want to go with the flow and whatever makes people happy and content and doesn't stir the boat or rock the boat. It's rock the boat too much, right? So yeah, that's kind of where they're headed in their teenage years. I do want to pull one more card though, to see, or two more cards to see possible paths for them as an adult, where this behavior leads that we have so far. So let's get one more card for this reading for this character.
One more card, please. Two more cards. Two more cards, please. Okay, if you don't give me two more cards, I'm just gonna randomly pull them. Ain't that right, Chief? Yeah. Look, he upgraded from Chief. I don't know.
Since that card originally fell in my hand, then to the floor, I'm going to use it. So we have the Chariot as a path for them in their adulthood, should you choose to grow them that way, make their character arc go that way. And then for the other optional card, what is the other path that they could go down in their adult life? What problems and or not problems will they have? Okay, last time, give me a card, please. Oakley dokley. I don't think you can see that card, but I pulled the Hierophant. So we got two major Arcana cards, which is interesting. So let me see if you can see this properly. You can kind of. Let's move these up. These up. And then these two cards, which... Okay, so we pulled the Chariot as path 1 that they could take in their adult life, and then we have the Hierophant as path 2 that they could take in their adult life. Or if you feel so and choose, you can combine these two cards into a third optional character arc for this character. But we'll look at them separately and then together. So separately, let's start with the Chariot. The Chariot I see as this for this character in their adult life is someone who is sticking to the script of what works, what's tested, or what's tried and true, and what works for them, right? So in their adult life, they're gonna stick with being in control, you know, like that dependable person. They're gonna stick with what they know until that thing that they know no longer works for them, and they can't just chug-a-lug forward, right? This is gonna be something that they're gonna have to deal with in the future, if they don't deal with it now. But it doesn't sound like they will with this path or this arc for the character. Now let's move on to the second path, which is the Hierophant we have here. This card is more system based, like tradition, like something that's structured, a tradition, maybe a system of belief, something that has something that can be easily followed and doesn't leave a lot up to personal choice, I would say. This could be a religion that they found themselves in, or just a structure or a way of thinking that may be helpful to them or may not be helpful. It may be kind of detrimental because they might lose themselves in that system, or um, so that losing themselves in that system and that structure is like the dark end of it. But like it could also be that in this system or structure that they found themselves in, that it helps balance them out. It kind of helps them by giving them guidance and helping them find the balance between guidance and their own selves. Now, if we were to look at these together, this is more like, you know, control, chugging along forward in a system, a structure, system structure that um, if we were looking at it together, it's, I had the thought. I swear I had the thought. Um, okay, I remembered what I was gonna say. So together, it's kind of like I'm gonna do what I've been doing because so far what I've been doing is working and I'm in control of everything. But you're doing this in kind of like kind of like if I follow the right path, the path that I'm on, it's gonna be the safe path. Um, you'll be safe and whatnot, like stuff like that. I lost my train of thought. That's no bueno. So yeah, that's what I got for this reading. This hodgepodge of a reading slash character creation slash me rambling session. Anyways, if you use this reading, let me know in the comments down below what kind of character you came up with or what you see in the card.